Hello everyone, this is Amir Kumar Samal. Today we are going to discuss about my presentation on mechanism of cold adaptive enzymes. This is an assignment for the course AB721, that is Biochemistry of Biotic and Abiotic Stresses. First, the introduction. What are cold adaptive enzymes? Cold adaptive enzymes are the enzymes which are responsible for carrying out the metabolic reactions of the psychrophilic and cyclotolerant organisms despite they are living in a very cold condition. So we know that majority of the Earth's biosphere resides in cold environment, usually below 5 degrees Celsius, because 70% of the Earth's surface is covered by the oceans, and oceans 90% of the biosphere resides below 100 meter of the sea surface, and where the temperature is below 5 degrees Celsius. Not only that, some terrestrial organisms which are living in the cold mountain conditions or cold caves are also psychrophilic or cyclotolerant. Now, what is psychrophilic organisms? Psychrophilic organisms are organisms which usually grow between minus 20 degrees Celsius to plus 10 degrees Celsius, but they cannot grow above 15 degrees Celsius. Now, what are cyclotolerant organisms? Cyclotolerant organisms are growing between 20 to 25 degrees Celsius in normal conditions, but they can also grow below 0 degrees Celsius. Now, how these cold tolerant organisms adapt to the cold environment? There are several mechanisms which can endow these organisms with cold adaptiveness. One is the change in the membrane architectures, which will be containing more number of polyunsaturated fatty acids, and another example is the presence of antifreeze proteins in some animals like the Arctic salmons. Salmon is a fish. Besides that, the presence of cold adaptive enzymes are major adaptation to the cold environment in the cold adaptive enzymes or the cycrophilic or cyclotolerant enzyme organisms. Now here you can see, as you go below the epipelagic zone, the temperature constantly decreases. When you go below 400 degrees Celsius, 400 meters, you can see that at 1 kilometer depth, the temperature is only 4 degrees Celsius. That means you can imagine how much of the biosphere in this earth resides at cold temperature. It is of course more than that of the terrestrial things, because most of the ocean's biosphere resides in epipelagic regions. Now when you see the Arrhenius equation, you find that the reaction rate, that is the K catalytic or K cat, equal to A, which is pre-exponential factor or pre-exponential collision frequency, then K is meant for dynamic transmission coefficient, which is usually assumed to be 1, and exponential power over E, and that power function contains the negative value of activation energy upon R, that is universal gas constant, multiplied with absolute temperature in the Kelvin scale, that is T. Now when the temperature is very low, naturally the catalytic rate will be very low. However, if you again see this Arrhenius equation, you can find that if you decrease the activation energy, then you can maintain the catalytic rate. Okay, the temperature detrimental effect of the temperature can be offset by decreasing the activation energy. Here you can see that increase in temperature increases the K cut, means the turnover number increases, and when you decrease the temperature, the turnover number decreases. The problem is that there is not sufficient kinetic energy to overcome the energetic barrier of the reaction at this cold temperature. However, lowering the activation energy, that is EA, or in other way expressed at del G transition state. We will be discussing it in the next slides. Now, when you decrease the activation energy, the K cut can be maintained at high rate. That means the high turnover number can be maintained in an enzyme if it can decrease the activation energy of the reaction than its mesophilic counterpart despite the cold temperature. Now, this table discusses about the kinetic and thermodynamic activation parameters of catalysis of selected thermally adapted enzymes, which includes both the cold adaptive enzymes, their mesophilic and or thermophilic homologues. Now, what are the parameters that has been taken? That is the K cut, means turnover number per minute, then Km, which is Michaelis-Menten constant, which is a representation of the substrate affinity. It is given in millimolar concentration. Then T optimum, optimum temperature of the enzyme. Then del H transition, that means the enthalpy change to achieve the transition state. Then it is the del S transition, that means the change in enthalpy to achieve the transition state of the chemical reaction. And this is del G transition, that means the change in free energy while achieving the transition state, and it should be reduced so that the rate increases or the spontaneity of the reaction increases. Now, here we have taken three enzymes with psychrophilic, mesophilic and thermophilic counterparts for the enzyme alpha amylase from Pseudo-Alteromonas haloplanctis, which is a psychrotolerant or psychrophilic organism. Now, the mesophilic counterpart is porcine pancreatic amylase, and the thermophilic counterpart is alpha amylase from Bacillus amyloliquefaciens. And we have also taken glutamate dehydrogenase from psychrophilic organisms, Cyanocephalus acertus, which is an ice fish, and its mesophilic counterpart from bovine. And we have also taken a psychrophilic alkaline phosphatase enzyme from Pandalus borealis, and a chemically modified better psychrophilic enzyme of that particular organism, that is Pandalus borealis. Now here you see that the K cut of the psychrophilic enzyme is quite higher at a particular cold temperature, that is 10 degrees Celsius, than the mesophilic counterpart. The psychrophilic enzyme has the K cut of 17,640 at 10 degrees Celsius, whereas for the mesophilic enzyme at 10 degrees Celsius it is 5,820 only. That means there is almost threefold increase in K cut for the psychrophilic enzyme in comparison to the mesophilic enzymes. If you again take the example of the thermophilic enzyme, then it is quite low for the thermophilic enzyme and it is quite higher for the psychrophilic enzyme, that is cold adaptive enzyme. That means it is almost 20-fold higher than the thermophilic enzyme. Here you can see a particular pattern in the Km. Usually the Km for the psychrophilic enzyme is higher than that of the mesophilic or thermophilic counterpart. Here you can see that it is 0.2, whereas it is 0.06 only for the mesophilic organisms. Now, if you take that glutamate dehydrogenase, the Km is higher for the psychrophilic enzyme and it is moderate for the mesophilic enzyme. Similarly, in case of alkaline phosphatase, which is psychrophilic, the Michaelis-Menten constant is 0.13. But if you are taking another better psychrophilic enzyme, then it is more, that is 0.85. And this is the substrate on which the Michaelis-Menten constant was calculated. Similarly, the T optimum for the psychrophilic enzyme is usually lesser than the mesophilic or thermophilic counterpart or thermophilic homologues. Similarly, this entropy change for achieving the transition state in case of psychrophilic enzyme is usually lower than that of the mesophilic enzyme or the thermophilic enzymes. Here you can see it for the glutamate dehydrogenase also, but the better psychrophilic enzyme, which is chemically modified, has the del GH transition lesser than the alkaline phosphatase, which is the psychrophilic enzymes from which this is derived by chemical modification. However, according to the Gibbs equation, del G negative, the transition state would be del H transition state minus T del S transition state. So that if you are having lesser change in the enthalpic factor or higher change for the entropic factor, then this del G will be less or negative, so that the reaction will be becoming spontaneous. However, in case of psychrophilic enzymes, it is seen that usually the psychrophilic enzyme has lesser S del S transition than the mesophilic and thermophilic counterparts. This means there is always a trade-off between the decrease in the del H transition state of psychrophilic enzymes and also a decrease of the entropy factor, which has to be positive if the reaction has to go more spontaneous by decreasing the overall change in the free energy. However, that does not happen, and this is called the enthalpy entropy trade-off in the psychrophilic enzymes. We will be discussing it in the next few slides. Now, I would like to mention that this table has been prepared by modifying a particular table of this publication of Siddiqui and Kabikchili in 2006, and it was published in Annual Review of Biochemistry. There are several mechanisms which has been evolved by the psychrophilic enzymes to achieve the fiat of desired catalytic rate despite the cold temperature. So as we have seen that there is usually a shift downward of the optimum temperature of the enzyme activity. Similarly, there is another factor that is actually helping in the decrease in the change of enthalpy factor for achieving the transition state of the reaction. This is a concomitant decrease in the stability of the enzymes. Usually, it is counterproductive, counterintuitive, because we think that a protein will be very much active if it is stable, but the activity of cold adaptive enzyme was achieved by decreasing its stability to a point which achieves the desired catalytic rate but does not denature the protein to the extent where the organism wouldn't survive. Here, the decrease in stability is to such an extent that the organism can survive, the enzyme can survive, but the catalytic rate will also be increased. Now that E or activation energy can be given by del G transition. That means this is the energy difference between the transition state and the ground state of the substrate. So when you decrease the activation energy, there is a manifold higher reaction rate, that is K catalytic, and this is given by the Gibbs equation del G transition in kilojoule per mole equal to del H transition state minus T, that is absolute temperature in Kelvin scale, multiplied with the change in entropy to achieve the transition state, which is given by joules per mole per Kelvin. So there are two components of the Gibbs free energy change for achieving the transition state, that is the enthalpy component, and another one is the entropy component. Now if you are putting this value, that is del H minus T del S transition state, into the previous equation, that is the Arrhenius equation in some modified form, that is K cat equal to KBT upon H, that is Planck's constant, where KB equals to Boltzmann's constant, and T is absolute temperature, E is the exponential factor upon which del G is given over RT. Now when you are replacing this del G with del H transition state minus T del S transition state, you are getting the Eyring equation, which states that if you can decrease the enthalpic change for achieving the transition state and or increase the change in entropy for achieving the transition state, then the reaction rate will be manifold faster. Okay, thus a decrease in the enthalpy factor or increase in the entropic factor to achieve the transition state, or both, can bring about an increased K cut despite a decreased temperature. So decrease in the enthalpic factor to achieve the transition state and increased structural flexibility in cold adaptive enzymes bring about the desired catalytic rate despite the colder temperature. A decrease in the enthalpic factor is structurally accomplished by a reduction in the number of enthalpy-related interactions that intend to be broken during the transition state formation. This is likely to create enhanced flexibility of the active site in the cold adaptive enzymes, as well as overall flexibility or global flexibility of the cold adaptive enzymes. As a consequence of active site flexibility, the ground state enzyme substrate complex resides in a wider distribution of conformational states. Please note that the enzyme substrate complex resides in a wider distribution of conformational state than the activated or the transition state of enzyme substrate complex. These would apparently decrease the entropy to achieve the transition state. Depending on the reaction, the decrease or the change in the entropy to achieve the transition state can be positive or negative, as this term also includes contribution from redistribution of water that is released from the active sites or however, the key point is that the difference in activation entropy between a mesophilic enzyme and a cycrophilic enzyme is always negative. When you are putting the cycrophilic enzyme in that colder temperature, then the decrease of the entropy will be much more than the decrease of entropy that would happen with the cycrophilic enzymes. That means the decrease of entropy to achieve the transition state for mesophilic enzyme is always lesser than the decrease in entropy to achieve the transition state for the cycrophilic enzymes. Yes, M stands for mesophilic, P stands for cycrophilic. Now, as we have discussed in some previous slides, that there is always a enthalpy and entropy compensation of cyclophilic enzyme. The gain in K-cut would be massive if the decrease in the enthalpy factor is not accompanied by the decrease in entropy factor. Now, decreasing the enthalpy factor by 20 kilojoule per mole would increase the K-cut by 50,000 fold. 50,000 fold. Now, practically this does not happen because there always is a decrease in the enthalpic factor along with the decrease in the entropic factor along with the decrease in the enthalpic factor, so that the overall change in the del G to achieve the transition state is always small. This enthalpy entropy compensation is such that the difference in activation entropy between the mesophilic enzyme and a cyclophilic enzyme is always negative. That we have already discussed in the previous slides. Now, the enthalpy entropy compensation of cyclophilic enzyme has two consequences. One is that when there is a decrease in enthalpic factors, then there is a increase in flexibility at the active site, so that it increases the substrate promiscuity. Promiscuity means the substrate specificity is decreased, and some substrates which are having minor changes here and there over their structures can also be accommodated by the enzyme. Now, the decreased enthalpy factor also increases the Km, because as there is less enthalpic interactions, the attraction between the substrate and the enzyme will be less. Now, as there is decrease in enthalpy, there is increase in the and Km. That means the substrate specificity or substrate attraction is decreasing. That we have discussed in the table previously. Now, this increase in Km has a consequence for the activity of the cyclophilic enzyme. First, we have to take the reaction coordinate of the two types of enzymes, like that is the cyclophilic enzyme and the mesophilic enzyme. This is the reaction coordinate for the mesophilic enzymes, and this is the reaction coordinate for the cyclophilic enzymes. Here you see that the enzyme substrate complex before the transition state sits at a higher energetic positions for the cyclophilic enzyme than the enzyme substrate complex before formation of the transition state for the mesophilic enzymes. Here you can see that mesophilic enzyme is having lower Km than the cyclophilic enzymes. So this higher Km actually contributes to the overall decrease in the overall less decrease in the energy level for the enzyme substrate complex for the cyclophilic enzymes. Now, the cyclophilic enzyme has naturally to jump a lesser distance than the mesophilic enzyme substrate complex to achieve the transition state. So, there is a less energy barrier for the enzyme substrate complex for the cyclophilic enzyme. That's why cyclophilic enzyme can achieve better reaction rate despite the colder temperature in comparison to their mesophilic counterparts. And this change in del G is given by del G transition state for K-catalytic for cyclophilic enzyme minus del G Km contributed by the factors for this enthalpic change, that is contributed by the Michaelis-Menten constant, is equal to del G transition state of the K-cut for mesophilic enzymes minus del G for Km for the mesophilic enzymes, which are both same if we are going to see the overall change from here to here. However, the cyclophilic enzyme substrate complex has to jump lesser height to achieve the enzyme substrate complex. Now, if you are going to see this reaction coordinate, which is for the uncatalyzed reaction, then we are going to see that there is a higher energy barrier to achieve the transition state than the enzyme catalyzed reactions. This is the cost of uncatalyzed reaction over the catalyzed reactions. That means this much height should be jumped more for the uncatalyzed reaction to achieve the transition state in comparison to the catalyzed reaction. Now, what are the consequences of this reaction coordinate? That energy released by the formation of ES complex for cyclophilic enzyme is always lesser than the energy released by the formation of the ES complex for the mesophilic enzymes, because del GES is equal to minus RT natural log of 1 over Km. So when the Km is higher, the change in energy will be much higher for the mesophilic enzyme than the cyclophilic enzymes. Thus, the energy level at which the ES for cyclophilic enzyme sits is higher than that of the ES complex for the mesophilic enzyme. The energy barrier for ES complex for cyclophilic enzymes to reach the enzyme substrate transition state is always lesser than the energy barrier for the enzyme substrate complex for the mesophilic enzyme. Now, cold adaptive enzymes are very flexible or highly flexible, but they are highly thermolabile. That means they are not at all thermostable, and they have very high catalytic rate despite the high Km at low temperature. Due to the high flexibility, cold adaptive enzymes unfold at low to moderate temperature with concomitant decrease in the kinetic and conformational stability. The reduced stability of cold adapted enzymes could be due to low del H to achieve the transition state of the folded form, this implying a reduced number of non-covalent bonds that need to be broken to reach the transition state, or by increased change in the entropy for achieving the transition state of the unfolded form, not the folded form or not the active form, implying a highly disordered transition state. When the transition state itself is highly disordered and the substrate enzyme complex differ formation of transition state is not that much stable, then there always will be decrease in the change in enthalpy. These apparently mutual exclusive properties indicate that an activity stability trade-off exists for the cyclophilic enzyme. The catalytic residues for both the mesophilic, thermophilic and the cyclophilic enzymes are conserved, so that the flexibility, this indicates the flexibility achieved by the cyclophilic enzymes does not reside in the catalytic residues. This resides somewhere else, might be in the active site or might be globally on the surface of the whole surface of the enzyme, but not in the catalytic residues which form the catalytic triad. That means that is conserved. Other parts may vary to give the flexibility to the cyclophilic enzyme. We'll be discussing this thing in the next few slides. There is a model explaining the mechanism of action of cold adaptive enzymes, which is called the folding funnel model, based on kinetic, biophysical and structural data. A cold adaptive enzyme in its native states consists of a large population of conformations with low energy barrier between the conformations. Here you can see that for the mesophilic enzymes, the mesophilic enzyme native states stays in a lot of conformational states with a very less energy barrier between them, so that they can easily interconvert between themselves. However, this precludes the enzyme to have an optimum conformation to bind with the substrate. That means the enzyme has to spend most of its energy in the non-optimal stage so that its conformational fastness is more, which is giving its flexibility of structure, and those conformational flexible structures can interconvert rapidly between themselves. Now, this increased flexibility would cause the cold adaptive enzymes to spend more time in conformations that are not optimal for substrate binding and result in high Ka that we have already discussed. The low energy barrier across the spectrum of microstates, these are the spectrum of microstates, would result in an overall decrease in the activation energy and a high K cut. If you take the example of the mesophilic enzymes, you can see that there is a higher energy barrier between the highly stable native state and the unfolded state, so that they cannot easily interconvert, so that their activation energy will not be decreased at this particular temperature. Now, the flexibility which is crucial for the activity of the cyclophilic enzymes can be of two types. One is the static flexibility, another one is the dynamic flexibility. Static flexibility is representing actually the number and structural variety of possible enzyme conformations, and dynamic flexibility is measuring the rapidity at which those structures can interconvert. And this static flexibility is approximated by average flexibility of amino acid side chains that are given by a factor called B or temperature factors, which is estimate of occupancy, average occupancy derived from the electron density map averaged over a population and time. Now, basing on these B factors, there are certain amino acids like tryptophan and tyrosine, phenylalanine, cysteine, etc., which are very rigid, and there are certain other amino acids like glycine to lysine. These amino acids are much more flexible because they have the high B factor. Now, cyclophilic enzyme, in order to achieve its flexibility, usually avoid these rigid amino acids, but incorporate more of these amino acids, and the rigidity actually decreases from tryptophan to lysine. This dynamic flexibility is actually assessed by two types of experiments. One is the dynamic fluorescence quenching, another one is the proteolytic nicking. The more the dynamic fluorescence quenching and more proteolytic nicking, the more dynamically flexible is the enzyme. Why? Because when the enzyme is more flexible, the quenching reagents can go to the active sites or to go to the cavities easily, so that they can quench the fluorescent moieties in the enzyme. And alternatively, if the enzyme is more flexible, then it will be exposing itself more to the proteolytic enzymes, so that it will be nicked more. So more the nicking and more the fluorescence quenching, more will be the dynamic flexibility of the enzymes. So the flexibility, both static and dynamic flexibility of the cyclophilic enzymes and their mesophilic and thermophilic homologues have been calculated by basing on extracrystallographic structures and as well as dynamic fluorescence quenching and proteolytic nicking. So these structural adaptiveness are as following. Like cold adaptive enzymes are having decreased core hydrophobicity. However, the mesophilic enzymes are having increased or high core hydrophobicity. High core hydrophobicity means there will be more number of and larger hydrophobic moieties in the core of the enzymes, so that there will be more hydrophobic interactions and the enzyme will be stability. But the cold adaptive enzyme does not need stability. It needs flexibility to have desired K cut at the cold temperature. That's why they avoid the core hydrophobicity. However, they have much more higher surface hydrophobicity. When the surface hydrophobicity is more, the enzyme hydrophobic residue will be trapping some of the water molecule to form the cage-like structure. And this formation of cage-like structure between water molecule will actually dispel the or separate the amino acid structures from each other. That's why the enzyme structure will become more flexible. However, in case of the mesophilic enzymes, there is very less surface hydrophobicity. Now, this intuitively intuitively opposite phenomenon of increased surface hydrophobicity is not uh, that much pronounced, because at the cold temperature, if you take the mesophilic enzyme and it is not having the surface hydrophobic enzyme residues, so that the water molecule which has to be caged are released, but these water molecule which are released will not be moving very fast or moving very freely because the temperature is low. That means the entropy here for the mesophilic enzyme is restricted. The entropy that it has had to enjoy is restricted, so that the difference of the entropy between the mesophilic enzyme and the psychrophilic enzyme, due to the presence of higher number of hydrophobic residues on the surface of the psychrophilic enzyme, is not that much wide. Similarly, you can see that there are more histidine incorporated into the uh, psychrophilic enzyme structure, because the histidine is less branched, it is not that much hydrophobic, and also it is more flexible than in comparison to the other hydrophobic residues. Similarly, there is much more negative amino acids in comparison to the positive amino acids in the cold adaptive enzymes, and there are always a patch of uh, negatively charged amino acids on the surface of the psychrophilic enzymes, and there is no or very less presence of the positive charged amino acids. When the negative charged amino acids are only present on the surface, then this negative charge will repel each other, so the structure will become more flexible. Similarly, there are less hydrogen bonds in the psychrophilic enzymes, there are less aromatic interaction, and there are less salt bridge in the psychrophilic enzymes. We will be discussing how the aromatic interactions happen in case of the mesophilic enzymes, but it is avoided, and why it is avoided in the psychrophilic enzyme. Continuing with the structural adaptation of the psychrophilic enzymes to achieve flexibility, we found that there are weak inter-subunit and inter-domain contacts in the psychrophilic enzymes, which are very stronger in case of the mesophilic and and thermophilic homologs. Likewise, more number of loops and longer loops are present in the psychrophilic enzymes between the domains or subdomains of the psychrophilic enzyme. More the number of loops and longer the loops, the flexibility will be more, and the interaction between the domains or subdomains will be less stronger for the psychrophilic enzymes. Similarly, there are less proline in the loop structure, which is a loop constant factor. When we put proline into the loop structure will not be flexible, so that there are less number of proline in the psychrophilic enzymes in the loop structure. However, there are more number of proline in the alpha hexes, because proline breaks the alpha helix, which makes the psychrophilic enzymes more flexible by incorporating more proline in the alpha helices, which is the opposite case with the which is not the case with the mesophilic or thermophilic enzymes. These enzymes avoid proline in their alpha helical structures, so that they are more stable. Psychrophilic enzymes contain more methionine in comparison to arginine, because the presence of methionine, which is flexible but not branching, and which does not form dipole-dipole interactions, will be better adapted by the psychrophilic enzymes to have flexibility in its structure, particularly in the active sites. It has been seen in case of the psychrophilic subtilizations that the arginine, which is present in the mesophilic and thermophilic enzymes, are completely absent in the active site of psychrophilic enzyme, psychrophilic subtiliation, and it is replaced by methionine, because methionine does not form a branch structure, so that hydrophobic interaction will be less. It does not form the dipoles, so that salt bridges will be less, and it is also flexible. in comparison to the arginine. Similarly, there are less disulfide bridges in the cyclophilic enzymes as compared to their mesophilic or thermophilic counterparts. Now we are going to discuss about the decreased core hydrophobicity by reduced number and smaller amino acids in the active sites, because reduced van der Waals interaction will be there, which will increase the movement of the internal groups, which will destabilize the core structure as well as increase the number and volume of the internal cavity. The van der Waals force is given by this equation, that is A R1 R2 upon R1 plus R2 6 r square, where r square is the interatomic distance and r1 and r2 are the radius of the first atom and second atom respectively. When you are going to increase the distance between the two van der Waals interacting atoms, the van der Waals force is decreasing by the square of the radius of the square of the distance between them. And there is increased cyclohydrophobicity contributes to flexibility that we have already discussed. Now we are going to discuss about why aromatic interactions are avoided in cyclophilic enzymes and how aromatic interactions are helpful for stabilizing the structure of mesophilic and thermophilic enzymes. Here you find that due to the delocalization of the pi electrons on the above and below the surface of the plane of the aromatic ring, there is a formation of partial negative charge and formation of on the surface of, on above that is above or below the surface of the plane of the ring, and there is also formation of partial positive charge along the C carbon and hydrogen bond axis. And that's why for aromatic interactions in case of the mesophilic and thermophilic enzymes, this CH bond reacts at right angle with the surface of the plane of the ring. That this type of right angular aromatic reactions or interactions are avoided in cyclophilic enzymes to avoid tight and stable packaging. Examples are cold adaptive substitutions and beta lactamases. In summary, the Arrhenius equation tells that if the temperature is decreased, the reaction rate will be decreasing. But if we can increase the, you can decrease the activation energy, then this detrimental effect of decrease in cold temperature will be offset for the cold adaptive enzymes, and this decrease in activation energy is achieved by decrease in the change in enthalpic interaction or change in enthalpic energy of the cyclophilic enzymes, despite some detrimental change in the entropic factor for the cyclophilic enzymes. And if you are going to put this Gibbs equation into the Arrhenius equation, you are getting the Eyring equation, which states that if you are decreasing the enthalpy by increased flexibility of the enzyme to achieve the transition state, then you can offset the effect of the low temperature and achieve a desired K cut. Usually in case of the cyclophilic enzymes, only the enthalpic factor is decreased and the entropy is never increased in case of cyclophilic enzymes for formation of the transition state. However, the decrease in the enthalpy factor is so high that it can offset the decrease in the entropic factors, and it gives to the achievement of higher flexibility by the cold adaptive enzymes which helps in its greater movement to interact with the substrate and formation of the substrate enzyme transition state despite the lower temperature. Thank you.